need to start this video before it gets too dark out and then I don't record because it's dark and the lighting's not good, and then I wait until, and I can't wait till tomorrow because I'm traveling tomorrow and I want to be reading tomorrow. So this is a really long-winded way of me saying hi, welcome to today's video. We're gonna be doing something very, very exciting. We're gonna be playing a romance trope bingo. Okay, basically what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna make like a little bingo sheet, probably on Canva, because I was gonna make like a physical one, and then I'm actually going to like Washington for a few days, for actually like a while, a little over a week, and so obviously I can't bring that with me. I'm gonna make it on Canva, and hopefully I have it like somewhere on the screen so you can see it. I don't know which side. I'm gonna make this difficult for future Morgan, who has to edit this, but I'm gonna have a whole bunch of different tropes on there, like romance tropes in specific, like sports romance or enemies to well, I don't really feel like enemies to lover exist in like a contemporary romance type thing. I feel like it's definitely more so romantasy, which I can read, by the way. I might read a romantasy, I don't know. But I have a lot of romance books on my TBR this month. A lot of them are on my Kindle. So I think all of them are exclusively on my Kindle. All the physical books I have are not romance. So I'm gonna be reading romance books, and I guess this video doesn't end until I get a bingo. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I had this idea a while ago, but I kind of wanted to wait till summertime to get like the more romancy vibes, if you know what I mean. Like I feel like summer is the perfect romance genre reading season, if that makes sense. This is really, I don't know why it's taking me so long to explain what the point of this video is, but basically I'm gonna be reading books, romance books, on my Kindle while I'm out and about traveling and trying to get a bingo on this romance board, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully I can get it up on the screen. We'll find out, but I'm very, very excited. I'm thinking I'm gonna start with Caught Up. Nope. I'm gonna start with The Right Move by Liz Tomford, because I read Mile High last month, which if you want to know my thoughts on it, you can go watch my April wrap-up video. But I finished Mile High last month and I really liked it, and everyone said that The Right Move is like their favorite book out of that series. So I'm gonna read it. I just wanted to do this quick little introduction before I forget. I'm probably gonna start the book tomorrow while I'm traveling, like on the plane and stuff, just because I'm gonna have it downloaded onto my Kindle. I don't know, let's just dive right in. Okay, I'm not entirely positive about this angle, but I got 51 pages into The Right Move, and I am hooked. Yeah, so it's about the brother of the female main character in their first book, and he is like a professional NBA player, and then the co-worker of the main female character from the other book, she got cheated on and she had to like move out and she had nowhere to go, so she goes to live with the brother, the NBA player. And it's so cute already, and I'm only 50 pages in. The NBA player, his name is Ryan. He doesn't really want to have a roommate, but he's doing it because his sister asked him to. And then he also like has this thing where he doesn't want any distractions, because I guess it's like a really important year for him and sports wise. He does the small acts, like the small things. And I don't want to say what I just read because like it's not necessarily a spoiler, but I feel like you should be able to experience that yourself. So you should totally read it and find out. It's so adorable. That being said, I did make my little bingo sheet. I don't know why I'm trying to show you a picture when I'll just have it pop up on the screen here. But I feel like we can mark quite a few off on this one. Easily, we're marking off sports romance because he's an NBA player. We could probably mark off Sunshine Grumpy because Ryan is everything is organized. He doesn't have really many friends outside of his teammates or his sister. He doesn't socialize, so not necessarily grumpy, but definitely not like super out there and outgoing. Well, Indy, the main female character, she's super outgoing and bubbly. So I feel like we can mark off Sunshine Grumpy. We could definitely mark off Forced Proximity because they're roommates, and Dual Point of View because this is told dual point of view. I feel like that's all the ones we can officially mark off right now. Well, obviously Free Space. I have a suspicion. I didn't look up much about this book beforehand, so I'm not sure if this is common knowledge or not. But 50 pages in, and I think she is setting it up for fake dating, and I'm actually so excited for it. I really, really hope we get some fake dating. That'd be so cute. We might be able to mark that off. But yeah, so far we have 4 plus the Free Space equals 5 marked off, so not bad. Not that they're really that close together, but If we have fake dating marked off, that'll be 3 in one row and we might get a bingo super quick. I love the fake dating trope. I think that's one of my favorites. I'll be very, very excited if that is in this book. I think it is. I feel like I might have heard somewhere that it's fake dating, but I'm not sure. I also hope that's like not I don't know. I didn't read the synopsis for this book. Usually if it's in the synopsis, I don't mind telling you guys, but I didn't read the synopsis, so I'm not sure. So hopefully the fake dating part isn't a spoiler if it happens. If not, I could be totally rambling for no reason, and that would be hilarious. I'm gonna get back to reading though. It's like over 400 pages, so I have quite a bit of reading to do still, but I wanted to make sure I marked off the little bingo boxes, or else I would have forgotten. That's my update for The Right Move. I finished The Right Move. So when I last updated you, I was like, oh yeah, I think there's gonna be a fake dating trope in here. If I had waited literally two more pages, they started fake dating. So I can cross that one off the list of tropes, off the bingo board. And then there was also like single bed trope, which was really, really cute. I really liked that one. So I think that's all that we can cross off. We're pretty close to like 2 separate bingos. Back to The Right Move. I really, really liked that one. I think I liked it better than Mile High, I want to say, but I still didn't love it. Like, it didn't give me 5-star feels. I think the epilogue to The Right Move was a little ridiculous. There were some just weird things that they threw into the epilogue that I was like, okay. And then I'm trying to think of like why oh, okay. So the declarations of love, them getting together, happened 77% into the book. I don't know what page. There's like a little under 100 pages left, and she still threw a third act conflict in there. How are you gonna pop up with a third act conflict, which I kind of saw coming, what they were like having the conflict over. I knew what it was gonna be about. So I feel like you didn't really need to have that much time to build towards the conflict per se. I'm not angry about that. I'm more angry that it got resolved in like 10 pages. How are you gonna have this huge conflict, which was over miscommunication, by the way. I should have thrown miscommunication here on my bingo board because I would have gotten that one. You can't resolve it in like a few pages and just be like, yay, they're all happy, you know? Anywho. Other than that though, I really did like it. I was giggling and doing all the romance reading things, if you will. I really loved that Indy was like a romance book reader because she kept talking about like book boyfriends and how they act and how Ryan would compare to a book boyfriend, and I thought that was really funny. I really liked those moments. Overall, I think I really liked the book, and I feel like it crossed off a lot on my bingo board. So that's cool. It crossed off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different tropes. I feel like there's more I could have added on to there. Anywho, that being said, it's time to pick the next book and see if that gets us to a bingo. But I'm having a really hard time picking what book to read, to be honest, because there's 3 books that I have on Kindle Unlimited that are on my May TBR that I could read. So I have Throttled, Things We Never Got Over, and All Roads Lead Here. Or I also have The Bodyguard by Catherine Center on Kindle Unlimited, but that's not on my TBR. So it wouldn't be the most smart to read that if I'm trying to finish the TBR this month. I kind of want to read it because I've heard a lot of people talk about Catherine Center recently. I don't know. And the thing is, it's the shortest out of all of them. And not necessarily that I need a short book, but it is nice to have a shorter book because The Right Move was over 400 pages. I want to read the 3rd book in the Windy City series called, I think it's like Caught Up or something. I kind of want to read that one too, but I feel like I should read a different author, maybe? Things We Never Got Over and All Roads Lead Here, like 500 and 600 pages. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I could read Throttled, and that's under 400 pages, but so is The Bodyguard, so I really don't know which one to pick. Really struggling with the decision. I think All Roads Lead Here is Slow Burn and Age Gap. That would cross some things off. Things We Never Got Over is, I believe, Small Town. Throttled is F1 Racing. I don't know anything other than that. And The Bodyguard is Fake Dating, but I already have Fake Dating crossed off on my list. Let's have like a picker wheel. Choose a random wheel thingy, choose, because I don't know what to do. But watch it, pick one, and I'm not gonna like it. Let's try. We'll spin and we'll figure out which one we're gonna do. I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. Looks like Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. That's the 500 page one, I believe. Oh well, it's fine. I want to read that anyways. This lighting is absolutely awful. I'm gonna hate myself when I'm when I'm editing this, because I don't look the best, but that's fine. I need to update you because I think the last time I talked to you, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start Things We Never Got Over, which I did. I started it and then I finished it. It did take me a few days and I just didn't update because I was super busy, but I am back home. I figured it might as well update you so I can finish this video and keep going because I did not get a bingo yet. So anyways, Things We Never Got Over is the first book in the Knock 'Em Out series. I think it's a trilogy. I think there's 3 books in there. And it's about Naomi, who basically shows up in this small town called Knock 'Em Out. And she goes because her twin sister calls and says that she needs some help. And when she gets there, her twin sister tricks her and steals her car and all her money and leaves her with a child, an 11-year-old child. And Naomi basically has no job, no transportation, no phone, no money, and kind of has to figure it out. Yeah, that's basically what the book is about. Knox is the love interest in that book, I guess. It's dual point of view, so Knox is the other point of view. He happens to be there when Naomi shows up, and a lot of people mistake Naomi for her twin sister Tina, and it causes a whole bunch of trouble because Tina was a big troublemaker in town, let's say. I'm not explaining it well. I never explain books well. I'm so sorry. But I finished it, and oh my gosh, I'm actually gonna like cry. This angle is so bad. Hopefully this is a little bit better. Anyways, I finished it. How did I feel about it? Let's just say I felt like there's a lot of really cringy parts to this. I didn't really love Knox as a male, as the main character, as a love interest, just because he seemed like he was only interested in Naomi because it was like a physical attraction type thing. And so for like the first, I want to say like 40-50% of the book, it was just all of his point of view chapters were about him thinking about how hot she was. And I was like, where's the emotions, you know? Like, not that there's anything wrong with that. I just think I prefer to have a little bit of emotion, especially if I'm reading a 500 page plus book. 500 plus page book. 500 plus page romance book. There we go. And there's like no emotion in it. It just felt kind of weird. And then there's this one scene. So Knox is like the owner of this bar, and all of his employees at this bar happen to be females, and so of course like their periods sync up or whatever. And you have just like this really awkward chapter about these girls complaining about being on their period, and Knox being like, oh, I don't go near the bar during like Shark Week or whatever. It felt like I was reading about a period from, well, like obviously it was from a man's point of view, but also we saw it from Naomi's point of view, and it was exactly the same, and it felt like I was reading, like, it felt like a dude was writing this about a woman's period. You know what I mean? I don't know. It felt weird to me. I was uncomfortable, and I felt like a lot of the romance parts were uncomfortable. I did really like the kind of like single parent vibe we got in there with Naomi raising her twin sister's daughter. It was really sweet to see this little girl who's been neglected her life and then abandoned by her mother, see her like learn what it actually feels like to have a parent who's there for them and who supports them. So I really liked that, and I liked seeing Knox becoming kind of like a father figure to Naomi. Not to Naomi. Nasty. To Waylay, which is the daughter's name. That was really sweet. I felt like the end was just so ridiculous. If you've read the book, let me know what you thought of that ending. Because, like, obviously fiction isn't... It's fiction, it's fake, so it doesn't have to follow the laws of the real world. Like, it doesn't have to make sense all the time. But it felt so... Like, the ending and all the things that happened there felt so unreal for it being a romance book. So I don't know, it kind of had a thriller vibe near the end there. So yeah, that was really interesting. As much as I'm like not hating on it right now, but like it seems like I'm not being very positive about it, I did still really like enjoy my experience. I read it really quickly. It was over 500 pages and it didn't even take me that long to read. I think I read over 200 pages in one day, which I haven't done at all this month, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, it was just kind of crazy. It was a crazy book. We get to cross off tropes from our bingo board. So small town romance gets to be crossed off. I think we can cross off single parent because Naomi does raise an 11-year-old child, even though she's not like actually, you know what I mean? It does feel single parent. I think I get to cross that one off. I was thinking about this. I think I'm gonna cross off love triangle because Knox has a twin brother named Nash. It just doesn't feel fair to call it a love triangle if you get Knox's point of view, so you obviously know who she's gonna pick at the end of the day. But his twin brother Nash had some pretty good moments in this book, I will say, and I'm very, like, not the only reason, but like one of the biggest reasons I'm going to be continuing on in this series is because I'm really interested to see Nash's story and Lucian and Sloane's. That's, I think, book 3. I think the next book is Nash's. So, like, I want to be able to cross off love triangle, but I don't know if that counts. Here's my thing. Everyone knows Twilight is like the staple for love triangles because Bella has to choose between Edward and Jacob, but everyone knows she was going to choose Edward. Like, that was, for me, that felt blatantly obvious, but that's still considered a love triangle. So I am going to reason with myself and say that it is a love triangle. So I get to cross that one off, which still does not make me have a bingo. Also, I'm not sure if this is an age gap romance because I don't think Lucy's score ever says Naomi's age, but I know Knox is at like 40 something. I think he's like 43. But I feel like Naomi's a lot younger, but they never talk about it. I genuinely don't think they ever mention Naomi's age. So I don't know if I can count it as age gap. Like, I'm not going to, because like that wasn't even like a main issue in the book at all, because it's not mentioned, so I don't know. Anywho, oh my gosh, the angle of this just keeps getting worse and worse. I am so sorry. We need to pick another book. So here's the thing. I'm back home now, which means I can pick a physical book. I don't really know which one of those I would want to pick, but also I have lots of books on Kindle that I should read too. I have 2 more books on my Kindle TBR. I'm basically saying I'm gonna pick from the other 3 books that I did the little spinning wheel for, but I don't know which book to pick because I kind of want to read All Roads Lead Here, especially because I do think that one is age gap and slow burn, which would mean we get the bingo right there, but it's like 600 pages. I think I just need to suck it up. Do I know what it's about? No. Do I know Mariana Zapata is the queen of slow burn? Yes. So I'm assuming it's gotta have slow burn. I also heard that all of her male main characters are like jerks. So I'm curious if I'm gonna like that one or not. Because like Knox in Things We Never Got Over was kind of a jerk and I didn't really like it. Like, I didn't really like him that much. But yeah, I'm gonna get started on it though because I have, well, listen. I have a job interview tomorrow morning and I am beyond nervous. This is like my first job interview I've had in like years. I'm very, very nervous. So I need to distract myself from my anxiety, which is why I need to pick a book, which is why I updated you guys. Because I was just gonna like start reading a book, but then I was like, I can't start reading a book until I update. But then I looked like this and I didn't want an update and it was like a whole thing. But it's fine because I updated you and we're just gonna deal with this. I'm gonna start All Roads Lead Here and hopefully stop being so anxious over this interview. Okay, so I am like 370 something pages into All Roads Lead Here. Definitely more than halfway through. So basically, it's about Aurora who ends up moving to a small town in Colorado after her and her very long-term boyfriend break up. And she goes back to the small town that she grew up in, and she ends up renting a room from a guy named Tobias Rhodes, but he goes by Rhodes. It's kind of about Aurora finding who she is again, I guess, or like learning how to be able to be single because she was in a relationship for like 14 years of her life, and she's now 33 years old. And then you like slowly get hints about what happened with her and her ex. You know it doesn't end well because she talks about sending him like a pie made out of poop, like what happens in The Help. If you've ever seen that movie or read that book. Kind of a really funny reference, really random too, but luckily I got it because I've read the book and seen the movie like a bajillion times. So I got the reference and I thought that was kind of hilarious. So you know the relationship doesn't end well and you kind of get bits and pieces of that while you're reading the story. Rhodes is a 43-year-old single parent. You kind of get to see this relationship build between Aurora and his 15-year-old son. I don't know, it's just kind of like a sweet little thing, and then obviously between Aurora and Rhodes. It's not a bad book by any means, it's just right under 600 pages long, and the writing isn't great. Okay? Like, I feel like it's a lot of just telling instead of showing me what happens. She'll go on hikes a lot because her mom loved to hike, and that's what her and her mom used to do together in this small town before her mom passed away. She goes on these hikes to feel closer to her mom, and she's like, oh, the landscape is so pretty, and I had to like stop so many times while I was driving to take in all the beautiful animals and the mountains and blah blah blah. But she doesn't tell us how it's beautiful. You know, like, I feel like it would have worked a lot better if she had given more descriptors. I just feel like that happens a lot throughout the book. I also feel like it's so repetitive because we do have 500 something pages and it's a slow burn romance and it takes forever to get to the romance. Like, I'm roughly 62% into the book and we just got little hints of romance between Rhodes and Aurora, and the other 60% before that just feels like the same thing over and over again, you know? I'm still liking it. I'm reading it really fast. I will say it reads fast. I just feel like we could get to the point a lot quicker. So maybe that's just me not really liking a slow burn romance because it takes so long to get to the romance. But I feel like if you're gonna have a slow burn romance, you have to have a lot more literary fiction type things going on, like with grief or relationships or stuff like that, which you kind of do have in this book, but I feel like it's not nearly as like moving or interesting as the romance part. And I feel like if you're gonna have a slow burn, you need to have equal interest in both the romance and the other themes. Obviously, Aurora is dealing with this grief because she lost her mom, but she's so, like, she seems like she's already healed so much from it. And like, I feel like you can definitely tell from a lot of the things she said, which is also another really repetitive thing, but she's like, well, you know, some days I just miss my mom more than others and blah, blah, blah. But like, she's very, like, I feel like you can tell that she's already processed her grief and she's going about it in a very healthy way. So for me, it's like, I don't want to say not interesting because that sounds so rude, but like, it's just not, I don't know what story is trying to be told through that theme. Meanwhile, like, the romance is taking forever and it's a romance book. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm not doing a great job of explaining why I'm struggling with this book, but that's why. And then I also feel like we have a trope bingo because it is a slow burn and it is an age gap romance. So I feel like we get to cross this off, and then we have a perfect little bingo right down the middle. We don't really have any other of the tropes on this list. So maybe not forced proximity. Well, yeah, forced proximity, but we already have that crossed off because she does live. Yeah, she's renting an apartment from Rhodes. So obviously there is a forced proximity there because they're together, and then obviously the single parent trope because Rhodes is a dad to a 15-year-old. That's quite a few things on this list that could have been crossed off, but I had already crossed them off. So far I'm liking it though. I'm not like loving it by any means, but it's not bad. I'm really curious to see where this does go because it is a slow burn and like we've just barely gotten a little bit of hints of romance in there. So I'm interested to see where that goes. I don't know if it's going to be like, I'm really hoping there's not a third act conflict if you're going to make me wait this long for the romance. You know what I mean? I really am hoping that the third act conflicts pertains to something other than the romance between these two people, but we'll see. Oh my gosh. This is like another small thing, but it's actually like, it's cute, but like weird at the same time. So Rhodes has started calling Aurora Angel, like, and he's done it a few times. He'll be like, oh, like, I'll get that for you, Angel, or like something like kind of cute like that. Like, it's cute, but then she'll be like, he keeps calling me by the wrong name. And so she corrected him once and she goes, actually, it's Aurora. And so every once in a while, he'll call her Buddy instead. And that's just like really, like, I'm pretty sure Mariana Zapata intended for it to be cringy, but it's so cringy. But I don't know what's more annoying, the fact that he'll start calling her Buddy when he realizes like he's called her Angel, or the fact that every time he calls her Angel, Aurora's like, he keeps calling me by the wrong name. You think he would have learned by now? You think she would have learned by now that it's a nickname. I don't understand why Aurora is that ridiculous and doesn't understand that. I'm gonna get back to reading though. My goal is to finish this today, and then I guess that means the end of the video because we got a bingo. Yay. I also worked out really perfectly that it happened to be 3 books to get the bingo because I like to read at least 3 books in a video. But I'll keep updating you because even though we got the bingo, I'm still obviously gonna update you once about this book, so you know my thoughts about it. I'll get back to reading now though. Okay, I just finished All Roads Lead Here. It was like a few hours later. Not really in love with it, not really in love with what happened per se. 100 pages from the end, the slow burn finally finished burning. Does that make sense? They finally got together, basically, the main characters, right? And then like 5 pages later, third act conflict. And then 10 pages after that, third act conflict resolved. and then we still had like 80 pages left in the book. And the third act conflict was so dumb. Like, I personally feel like what happened was kind of ridiculous. The main male character had no reason to react like that. Whatever, that's just me. I don't know. If you read it and feel the same way, let me know, because I was like, why? Why did he feel the need to be so upset? Like, I feel like she had a very valid reason for what she did. They resolved it so quickly, though. Like, I'm kind of glad that it didn't get, like, super blown out of proportion, but, like, it did. And then within seconds, it was like, it's all better now. The last 80 pages were spent tying up a few loose strings that were mentioned throughout the book. It kind of felt like she was crossing them off on a checklist, like, oh, I mentioned something about Aurora's mom. Check. I mentioned something about the son and his musical performance. Check. I mentioned something about Aurora's ex. Check. You know, like, it very much was, like, just trying to tidy up all the loose ends. And it wasn't like necessarily bad in a way, but the epilogue felt so unnecessary. I was so confused by what was happening anyways, and then I finally got it and I was like, why did we need this? I didn't like it very much, but that's okay. I mean, I still liked it a little bit. Like, it was interesting, I guess, and now I know that I'm not a huge fan of slow burn romances, but I just thought that it was just kind of ridiculous. That being said, I did get the book bingo, which is 6, so that means we can finish this video and do a little bit of a wrap up. I started with, oh my gosh, it feels like it's been so long since I started this video. It's been a while. It's been almost 3 weeks since I started this video, but I started with The Right Move by Liz Tomford, which is the second book in the Windy City series. I can never say that correctly first try. But that crossed off sports romance, One Bed, Sunshine Grumpy, and Forced Proximity, and Fake Dating, and Adult Point of View. That crossed off 6 of the tropes in one book. But a lot of those tropes ended up being in the other books I read. I just couldn't cross them off again. And I really liked The Right Move, actually. I think that's my favorite book that I read out of the 3 books for this video. I don't know, I just kind of like that series in total. I'm really digging the sports romance lately. And I was actually really surprised that I liked that one as much as I did, because I'm not a huge fan of basketball, but I really did end up enjoying that one, and I thought that the fake dating in that one was actually so adorable. So that was really good. That was a good one. I think I ended up giving it 4 stars, I want to say. And then I read Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score, which is the first book in the Knock 'Em Out series, and that one crossed off small town romance, single parent, and love triangle. That one was also pretty good. I think that it was just kind of ridiculous, and the guy main character was like, just some weird things going on there. Like, he was kind of a jerk, and I didn't see why anyone would be attracted to him, you know? But yeah, it wasn't that bad though. I think I like that one better than All Roads Lead Here, but I think I like the main male character of All Roads Lead Here better. I think I'm giving that one 3.5 stars, because I read it, like, I ate it up quite quickly, to be honest, especially for it being a 500 something page book. But I will be continuing on that series, especially because I want to see Nash and Lucian's stories. And then obviously the book I just read, All Roads Lead Here. I don't know, I think I'm gonna give this one like a 3 stars, but it's like a generous 3 stars. I feel bad giving it a 2.5. It's not necessarily a 2.5, but it's barely reaching a 3, you know? By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this when I was telling you about it, but I think my favorite character out of that whole book was Amos, the 15-year-old son, because he was just like, he felt like a funny, like, he was like a cool, I don't know. You could tell that he really cared about his dad and Aurora and what was going on between them, but like, he was a cool character. I liked him. The only issue with that book, and like, I know I'm still rambling about it, but I just didn't feel their romance very much. And I don't know if that's because of the slow burn and it took so long, or because it happened, like, it felt like their romance happened so suddenly, which sounds ridiculous because it was a slow burn. For the first 50% of the book, they didn't even talk to each other. And then, like, when they did start talking to each other, he would do, like, there was like one romantic moment that I was like, I could totally see something happening. But then the rest of it was like him being very overprotective and like doing, like, it's not even doing a sweet thing. I don't know how to explain it because I don't want to like give away what happens basically, but it just felt like him out of nowhere being like, oh, being super caring. And I'm not saying it's a bad book by any means. I just don't think I prefer the slow burn trope, because if I'm not getting hints of romance at the beginning of the book, how am I supposed to believe that it's going to happen later in the book? You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't see how it was gonna come together. And then it did. And then we had 100 pages of third act conflict resolution and then resolving all the plot points after 400 something pages of repetitive day-to-day life. Like, I could go on talking about what I felt was wrong with this book, and I feel so bad for that. If anything, this video, being a trope bingo, has taught me a lot about what tropes I do and don't like. I love the small town romance. Small Town from The Final Offer by Lauren Asher. I did not like that small town, but most of the time I do like a small town romance. And I love a good fake dating romance. Like, age gap, I can go either way. I'm really iffy on it because I really love the Chestnut Spring series. I've only read 2 books, but so far those both have been age gaps and I've loved them. And then All Roads Lead Here was like, but like, I didn't feel like age gap was that big of a issue going into it. I kind of do eat up a 1-bed trope, not gonna lie. Sue me, okay? It's cute. Still a lot of really good tropes that I hit, that I crossed off the bingo board. And we got a bingo, so this worked out really nicely. And my camera's close to dying, which is telling me it's time to sign off. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what your favorite trope is. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!